everyone. Welcome to Ed Talk TV, Conversations Worth Having. I'm your host, Ed Troxel, aka Tech Man, and I'm here to make your online business easy. Boy, it has been a day so far. I hope that Facebook is treating you guys well. If you want to see the face of a tech person like myself, who is literally speed demon over here trying to fix everything because our first connection was lost, this is the face. This is the face that you make as a tech person when you're trying to fix your own tech problems. So if this is your first time joining, welcome. Be sure to say hello in the comments. If you're a returning visitor, even if you're catching the replay, you know what to do. Head over to the comments and say hello. The tech problem we're having today, I'm just going to share it with you guys because this is something we all go through, even techies like myself, is when you have things in order. So today I scheduled this show and I had everything lined up. And then all of a sudden, not even 5 minutes, I think it was 2 minutes before showtime, the internet went out. Yeah, the Wi-Fi just dropped. And we have a special guest today too. So, I thought I was doing great. I had everything planned and set up and good to go. And then literally 2 minutes before the show, everything just crashed. Therefore, it lost my connection to Facebook, and I had to go through and quickly update the other posts to let people know that we're here. So you can share this, you can tag people. And then as I'm typing it into my phone, the Facebook app starts glitching and it just opens and closes, opens and closes. Have you guys ever had that happen? So then I had to force close it and then get everything going, and now we're here. So if this is your first time joining, welcome. Real quick, let me tell you about the show. We go live every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time right here on the business page. I repurpose this show, so you'll find it on my blog as well. And if you're not on my email list, which you can do later after this show at edtroxelcreative.com, if you're not on my email list, then you're not getting my weekly emails, which have business tips, tech support, and recaps of our weekly show here. So be sure to jump onto that. Now, the way this show works is I discuss a little bit of random news and then we go into a topic. Today, we're actually going to have a special guest. So it's not just me you get to hang out with. We'll bring on a special guest here shortly. But first, let's do random news. So I am going to head over and share with you my screen here. Now, I don't know about you, but where I'm at here in California, we've had a lot of rain. We need the rain, so it's good, but we've had a lot of rain. And so this is a new way of being able to use, not use an umbrella, because you don't get to use an umbrella this way. Let me just show you. So take a look at this. I don't know, would you be able to show up on the streets wearing this for when it rains? I am just texting my guest. Yes, I am online. So let me know, even if you're watching the replay. Hey, Aaron, welcome. See, Aaron knows this is the face. This is the face that when we're hustling and we're back here behind the computer freaking out because there's so many tech issues. This is the face that tech guys make, and gals, tech gals. And Aaron says, going with a hard no. Okay. Aaron, this is hilarious, you guys. It's not just the bubble, but it's also the straps. He actually has straps. It's like a backpack that you wear. Hilarious. So even if you're on the replay, let me know, if you are, interested in this. Now, here is a new feature coming up for Messenger. How many of you guys, even if you're watching the replay, how many of you use Facebook Messenger? Let me know in the comments. The reason I ask is because Facebook Messenger starting today, now I tried this on mine and it didn't work yet, but launching today, Facebook Messenger is going to allow you to delete messages within 10 minutes. So what do you think about that? Is that something that you would use? Let me break that down a little bit more for those who are kind of scratching their head thinking, well, why would I want to unsend a message? Maybe you sent a message to the wrong person. Maybe you reread your message after you hit send and you thought, I want to change that. Doesn't sound right. Well, now starting today, Facebook is going to have an undo button. So once you send a message in Facebook Messenger, you'll be able to delete that message. However, let's just say that there's kind of a catch here. You can't probably tell really from this screenshot here on the page, but Facebook will have, and it's launching today, so you may not have this available, but Facebook will allow you to delete the message. However, it will still say something in place. So when you delete your message, it will say you removed a message. So everyone will see that you removed a message. They don't know what that message was, but they still see that you deleted something. So if you're still like trying to make sure that nobody sees that message, double check it before hitting send. Make sure you're in the right group and you're going to say the right thing before hitting send. That's the best advice I can give you. But like I said, Facebook hasn't launched this on my messenger. It just is rolling out starting today. So we'll see how this works. Now, let me bring me back over here. Oh, and I was going to show you something, Aaron, thank you for your comments. I was going to show you guys a post, but it took too long for Facebook to load for me. But on the post prior to today's live, I had asked about who do you go to when you have tech problems, you know, just curious because I know a lot of you come to me, but I was just curious who else might be your go-to or where else might be your go-to is more like it. You know, are you just Googling it or what? So I'm pulling it up here and the question was when you run into tech troubles, you ... Now I want you to jump over there if you haven't answered this later and share your message. But I got to call out Erin because I love what she had wrote. And I didn't ask her to write this. This is just her sharing. She said, dial into my Hey Ed network and get answers in minutes. For those who don't know what the Hey Ed network is, you can head over to Ed Troxel Creative after this. But just a real quick, that's your support network. That's going to help you grow your business online. It's going to help you with all your tech questions. And she put, but really though, I've cut out at least 3 hours a week in research and surfing groups for help. Even just being pointed in the right direction is a huge relief. And then she had this GIF saying, I win. And you know, that's just, it's amazing. And I love that. And so thank you so much, Erin, for that. And I want you guys to also realize, because a lot of you are business owners or soon to be business owners, that you need to look deeper into the comments. You need to read your comments. You need to engage with your people. Remember, you got to show up, deliver, and engage. Those are 3 things that you need to do. And that engagement is key. And that is where you're going to find your testimonials. That is where you're going to find your reviews. And I want you all to pay attention to the comments. That's why I always say the magic happens in the comments. So be sure that you're paying attention to your comments. I will say I have seen some business pages on a local level even that just post and they don't engage, even when there's engagement on those posts. That's not okay. You need to engage. You're being present. You're trying to share something. People are taking time out of their day to connect with you. Take some time out of your day to connect with them. And now I know we can't hit everyone. You know, some of our pages might have hundreds, if not thousands of comments. So it might be really hard to dedicate time to answer every single one, but you do your best, especially when you only have 2 or 3 comments that show up. You need to engage. That's going to help you grow your page organically. And that's what we're all about. So I'll step off my soapbox for that. And I am going to go ahead and call our guest. We haven't had a guest in a while, so I'm super excited about this. And we're going to give our guest a call here. So let me get our screens prepared here and give them a call. And then we'll jump into today's topic and we'll go from there. This is one of my favorite parts of the show. I just like to dance to the ringing here.
Hi there.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Good. Let me get my video on here.
Yep. There we go. Yes. Oh, I'm so excited. I know we even had a test run and then we had some tech issues 2 minutes before. So I'm glad that we're here now. So go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience, who you are and what you do, and then we'll jump into today's topic.
Sure. So my name is Tina Greenbaum. I am a holistically oriented body, mind, psychospiritual psychotherapist. That's my background. That's my history. And over the last couple of years, well, I have focused on many different groups that I've taken these skills to, but over the last couple of years, it's been about business. And so I created a program called Mastery Under Pressure. and how to take these Olympic level athletic skills into the workplace.
I love that. And how many of you guys, even if you're watching the replay, could use some of those skills, right? Doesn't that sound nice, especially if you are working on any of your programs or services, getting things up and running and for those who already have it in place, it's also a good thing to pause and kind of reflect and be able to implement different strategies for that.
True.
And so let's dive in. And what do you want to share with us today? Because this is an exciting topic, and you have so many crazy, awesome skills. And I want to tell everyone real quick before we jump in, Tina and I actually met at a networking event down in San Francisco. And it was a luncheon that I went with a friend of mine, Midori, who some of you have seen here on the show. And we ran into Tina and just started talking. I was like, I want to have you on the show sometime. So that's how we got to this point. And just to share with you guys, to go out and meet people in your area, not just online, but in your area, and sometimes not in your area, because San Francisco is a little bit of a drive for me, but get out and meet people is the point there.
Yes. And also the point, Ed, in terms of really kind of finding the things for you, each person, what works for them.
Yeah.
You know, some people love online and they love to sit in front of the computer all day long. Not me. I like people. And so networking events, speaking events, things that people can see me work, they work for me and my business. So I think it's really important for people to kind of do a little bit of reflection. I just did today a bunch of cold calls. And it's not like I mind being on the phone, because I really don't. It gets a little discouraging when you get, you can't even get a department, let alone a person. But I got a call back today.
Oh, great.
So again, just kind of pushing beyond your comfort zone sometimes, but maybe kind of finding the things that really work for you best.
Yeah, no, and that's a great message for everyone live and watching the replay, is that you have to pay attention to what works for you and where you feel comfortable. And that we talk about that a lot in terms of social media platforms and how, as a business owner, we don't need to be on every single platform. We need to be on the right one with our people that are actually showing up, which is why I prefer Facebook, because I'm here, my people are here, and I can really engage with them, versus Instagram. I'm there, but I'm not allowing myself to be on there like I am on Facebook, because I know that my people are still working with Facebook and they prefer Facebook. Instagram is just so different. And so you have to be able to understand you and your people.
Right. Which brings us back to the topic of you as the individual business owner. So just to give a little background, I've been doing this work I'm getting on 36 years now. It's amazing. And I have started, and I can't hear you, Ed. I've kind of lost your sound.
Oh, no, you're good.
Here we go. Okay, great. Okay. And so I have moved a bunch over the years. This is my sixth move now I'm out in California. I'm an East Coaster. But every single time that I moved, I started my business over again. So I had the same skill set, but it was new people, new community, new everything. Yeah. And it was a bit challenging. And at the same time, so what I've been able to do is I've been able to be on my own as a solopreneur all these years. There's times that maybe I should have worked for somebody, but I couldn't care to do it. And so I have been kind of a solopreneur, I've been a solopreneur my whole entire career. Yeah. So I know the issues. I know the ups and the downs and the places where we feel like we want to give up and like, why am I doing this? And even, just today using that example of making these cold calls, am I really wasting my time? Why am I doing this? And so there's so many pieces and so many moving parts now in terms of, not only online, but like which online and how should I go out here and websites. And it's so incredibly complicated. And so you have to have a mindset to be able to be resilient enough and passionate enough about what you're doing so that you don't give up.
Yes.
I mean, the statistics are terrible.
Right.
I mean, like, I don't know, maybe you even know more than, 85% of people who go out on their own give up.
Yeah.
They don't succeed. And so I think it's really important to know why we're not succeeding. So I think a lot of times in terms of a triangle.
Yeah.
So most businesses and athletes and any skill that you're trying to learn, we have an area of expertise. So mine is psychology, spirituality, yours is the technical and whatever other things, but you have a certain area where you keep learning.
Right.
And you keep growing. And the good news, if it's really something that drives you, it can drive you for your whole entire career because you always want to learn more.
Yes.
Right? So your area of expertise. Now we're in business. And so now we have to take this area of expertise and bring it into the marketplace.
Okay.
Okay. So that's our technical. And now we have our tactical. What are our marketing and sales and the kinds of things that we're going to do so that we get exposure, that people get to know us. Right?
Right.
So this is where most businesses spend all their time. Okay? But if you were an Olympic level athlete, you would train the mental skills.
Yes.
As much as you train these, right? Put as much time, much energy, so that you can bounce back, you can think quickly on your feet, so you just kind of know, you have a toolbox to reach for. Oh, this person's coming on to me in a certain way. I'm not really happy about that. Okay, let me pull into my toolbox. How I want to respond becomes automatic.
Yep.
And I don't know, again, just getting into so many situations, so many conversations, so many presentations, people asking you things. Wouldn't it be really cool to be that quick that you don't even have to think that much, that it just becomes like driving a car?
Yes. Yes, I love that. I'm going to interrupt for a second, and I put it in the comments for you guys who are watching the replay as well, and welcome to everyone joining in. This is what I love, because so many of us, we focus on, our social media profiles, the website, the marketing aspect, which is all stuff we have to pay attention to, but we forget about the mindset, and we kind of hear about it, but we don't really pay attention until we actually hit that shift and have someone like you tell us, no, it's all about the mindset, and really training that. And I posted in the comments, it dawned on me that that's really why I started the Hey Ed Network, is for not only for the support, because that's just natural for me, but it's really about being around like-minded people and people that are going to help you keep moving forward, because that support of that mindset is so important. And it's actually why I included now weekly accountability calls, because it allows us to see face to face just like we're doing now. Mm-hmm. But it gives us that boost, because now every week I look forward to that myself, and it's better than drinking a cup of coffee, and you just feel so alive, and you're like, it's not just me. We had that this past week where one of the members was like, I just got to be real with you guys. Is it just me, or is it XYZ? And I said, no. Everyone was like, no, that's normal. And you wouldn't know that unless you're around the right group of people. Exactly. So mindset is huge, huge.
Absolutely. And what I say a lot of times, because a lot of the things that I'm talking about or you're talking about, people know. So, at some level, there's nothing new that I'm going to tell your audience that they haven't in some way heard before, right. Except we say it's common knowledge, but not common practice.
Yeah.
Right? So I know why I should do this. I know why I should meditate. And now the neuroscience is coming in and really explaining things that I sort of have intuitively known or had to kind of use my nose. But the science is telling us why meditation works, why it's really valuable. The science is telling us why, yoga works. And I think people, if they don't know this, I find this a really interesting fact. I just had a client here just a couple minutes ago. We were talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
The body gets triggered before the mind gets triggered.
Okay.
The body gets triggered before the mind. So let's just say, you're on a call with somebody and somebody's kind of giving you a little bit of a hard time, or the maybe Ed, you didn't really deliver like what you said you were going to deliver, or anything that kind of hits us in a way that it's like, ooh, my imperfections, my the things, my wounds that I may not talk about, but they hurt.
Yeah.
They hurt. So the body gets it, and our brain has a memory system that's like a computer that's 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. It's recording. It's been recording since the moment we were born.
So
and even for you do. So a lot of our patterns are really established by the time we're 6.
Oh, wow.
By the time we're 6. And then the rest of our lives, if we don't do this kind of personal growth work and this kind of transformational work, we react in the present as if we were 6 or 5 or 4.
That explains a lot.
But it's true. It's just really, really, really true. This client that was just here, she was just talking about at work when her boss kind of just talks to her in a certain way, or she's actually managing people that are older than her, and they kind of come down on her, and it's like, why to say? But it's in the work, it's not hard to trace it. Like, who really talked to you like that?
Yeah.
Where did this wound become established? So that we can really separate between what's going on in the moment as an adult versus what's really we're bringing from our history.
Right.
And just unconsciously reacting.
Yeah. No, that's a big one. And I don't know about you guys watching even on the replay, but for me and what I've experienced with a lot of clients as well is we have such a crazy thinking around money and pricing our services and what's a good price, because if you go too low, you're too cheap. If you go too high, you're too expensive. And it's like figuring out that magical number that's going to make everything work. I've had something that I had one course of mine that was teaching you how to build a website, and I put it out, I think it was started at $49 because I really just wanted to help people. And I was like, this is gold. And here you go. Like, it's just here. It didn't sell. Not one person bought it. I raised it to $297 because I had somebody come in and say, listen, you got to price that because it's worth way more. And even at $297, it's still cheap. Right. And so I did, and it sold right away. And I was like, how does this happen? I was trying to help you, but it's weird. It doesn't. It's a whole mind game.
And again, if we go back to like each person's history around money and their family stories and people, telling them things and, all the myths about money, and you have to work. Again, I'm not professing to everybody that you have to spend years and years in therapy to kind of figure this stuff out.
Right.
Because you don't, unless your life is just not really, really, really not working, and maybe you do.
Yeah.
Okay? But what I am saying is where the gold is for you to know yourself really well, because these patterns we don't have that many patterns. People think like, oh, I got this is wrong. No. If we just kind of, again, like a computer, we got this one that triggers you, we got this one that triggers you, and we got this one. We got 3 main ones, and there's only so many themes in the human condition.
Yeah.
There's grief and loss and betrayal and abandonment and not being seen and not being heard, and they just replay over and over and over again in our lives, just different characters, different people.
So interesting.
I think it's really interesting. This has held my interest.
Yeah. And that's a big part. And so when you're helping clients, how do you tie it into their business? Are you just looking at what they're currently doing, or how does that work?
Okay, so this is the way I always start. I always start in the present. Mm-hmm. What's working? What's not working? What are your challenges?
Yeah.
What are the things that you keep coming up against that you're not able? You just don't seem to be able to figure out how to get beyond it. It could be a money ceiling.
Yep.
I'm only making so much money, and I can't, and I feel like it's not there for me. So again, we have to look at what's the cause.
Yeah.
I'm very big on causal stuff. It's, we have certain symptoms, but, this shows up, but really let's get down to the root so that we can really kind of clean it out, so to speak,
Yeah.
and clear it so that it's not plaguing you over and over again. Or if it comes up, it's like, oh, I gotcha.
Yep.
I don't like to, I'll give you an example. I don't like to be told what to do. I don't know a lot of people that do, but I'm really big on that.
Yep.
So, which is why I've worked for myself for so many years, because I love to collaborate.
Right.
But if I'm working with somebody that I don't respect and they're telling me what to do, and it doesn't work for me.
So hard.
So what I do know about myself is that when I feel like I'm being controlled, I feel it in my neck and my shoulders
Oh, yeah.
to tighten up. Okay, because the body, okay, under stress, we tighten up. So we're either in a state of contraction or a state of expansion.
Oh, I like that.
No, there's no in between.
Okay.
There's no in between. We're either growing or dying. There's no in between.
Okay.
So when I'm sort of, working and things are going well and, I'm in a state of expansion.
Yeah.
I'm happy I'm talking to you. I'm doing something that I love to do, right? Now somebody will come along and tell me, hey, Tina, you were too loud or you were too this or you were too that and pipe it down and it could be anything.
Yeah.
All of a sudden my body's going to go, but I'm so aware
Right.
of what's happening. Okay. I'm getting triggered. I see it. I feel it. Where's it coming from? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Where's it coming from? And then as soon as I can nail it, then I can say to myself, okay, what's in my control and what's out of my control?
Yep.
These are like my favorite. That's like number one. As soon as you start to feel like challenged and you're feeling like out of control, things are happening, people aren't calling you back, people aren't doing this, they're not doing that. What's in my control, what's out of my control. Okay?
I love that.
Okay? Out of my control that this person is annoyed with me. Okay, I'm really sorry. Okay, and then I can let it go.
Yep.
Or do I need to take responsibility for that? Which is where I always go first. What's my part? Okay, let me clear me first. Okay, yes, I was being really loud. I was being inconsiderate. So being in control of your life really means being at choice.
Yes.
I get to choose my response. Okay. So the gal that was just here, she was talking about, her husband says a certain something and then she just blurts out and she gets mad so now we're kind of backing up. Well, now we know what the trigger is and even where it comes from. And when he does that again, rather than you getting defensive and starting to yell back,
Right.
it's like, okay, I'm getting triggered. These words are like letting me know that he's into territory where I'm likely to want to fight back.
Yeah.
Okay. Pause. We pause. Okay. Then we choose the words. How do I want to respond to this? If I respond like I always have, I'll get the same exact response from him.
Yep.
And here we have now our vicious cycle.
See, I love that. And you guys watching, even on the replay, let me know if that's connecting with you. I will say that totally makes perfect sense. And actually, that's why I'm always saying, and have always done, the show up, deliver, and engage part. Because for me, our job is to show up and deliver what we know. Deliver that information, that expertise.
Right.
That's in our control. What's out of our control is how many people tune into our lives, how many people tune into our emails or our texts or whatever. But that's out of our control. So we can't worry about that. We need to worry about doing the show up and delivering part. And then if they choose to engage, then we worry about engaging with them. And so I just want to bring that for that connection for those of you watching.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. And then if we find over time that nobody's responding,
Yeah.
then we have to come back and look at again, what are we delivering?
Yes.
So it always comes back to the self.
I love that. That makes so much sense. And basically, too, what I'm hearing a lot of is we have to pause and check in with ourselves a lot more than what many of us are doing these days.
Right. That's right. So that's where mindfulness comes in.
Gotcha.
So mindfulness is an ancient practice that now has a name that everybody's sort of it's had a name, but now it's big. Now I'm in,
Yep. It's
so
a
excited.
keyword, the buzzword now.
Buzzword is mindfulness. Okay, but mindfulness, and I'll give you a definition because it's really, really, really helpful.
Yeah.
It's being aware in the present moment with no judgment.
Oh, with no judgment. I like that.
Judgment.
That is nice. I like that.
So whether they're listening or they're not listening, my job is really the how come. What's mine? Okay. Is my message, am I doing everything that I know how to do and it's still not happening? Well, then it may be a messaging thing, it may be an audience thing, or it may, so I'm a social worker and our training is about the interface between the inside self and the environment.
Okay.
So it's very easy to blame other people. People love blaming other people.
Yeah.
That's like our first, that's like our 2-year-old, thing of defense. It's not my fault, it's their fault.
Yep.
Right? But again, some of the basic premises that I work with, and again, you've probably heard them, a lot of people have, or actually a lot of people sometimes haven't, is I create my own reality. I create my own experience.
Yeah.
Right? So again, if somebody's not happy with me, they're not happy with my work, I actually at some level choose the way that I feel about it.
Yep.
Because they may tell you the same thing and you might go, Tina, are you kidding? Like, no biggie. And in the meantime, I'm just like, oh, I'm so wounded. I can't believe it.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes total sense. And that's a big one that I want everyone to pay attention to is whether you're building your business or you're already in business, you need to make that time to check in with yourself, to reflect. I tell a lot of you who are going live for the first time or want to start going live, practice. Go live and watch your replay. Watch your replay, even if you're like, oh, I'm terrible, I don't want to watch this. You have to watch it because that way you understand how you're delivering, what improvements you can have, how you can change things up, bring people on and see how the engagement works. Look at the comments, see what people are saying, and don't worry about all the live action, but also the replay action too. That's why I talk to replay viewers during my live broadcast because I know most of you are going to tune in after the fact. And we have to remember too that these live broadcasts, unless you take them down, which I don't, but if you may, depending on what your situation is, you have to remember that these stay up and circulate. And so I've had people who are finding my broadcasts now from a year or two ago. They watched one of my shows, and so one of my episodes. And so it just blows my mind when things like that happen. And we have to remember, oh yeah, it's not just about today. It's about what we've done.
You also brought up another thing I think is really helpful. And it's about a learning curve.
Yes.
And giving yourself permission to be a beginner.
Yes. Oh, giving yourself permission to be a beginner. I love that.
Yeah. Because the truth is that we can only go as fast as our nervous systems will allow.
Yep.
Okay. So if my nervous system is programmed, to be able to, at this certain point, I'm like hitting my ceiling and I keep pushing thinking that I'm supposed to be better. I'm supposed to know how to do this. I should know how to do this. It should look easy. Okay. Now we're just adding more stress.
Right.
Okay. And so again, a lot of times when I get frustrated with something or something new, it's like, I'm a beginner.
Yep.
Beginner's mind.
And I love that. And that I think sits with a lot of us watching is giving ourselves that permission to be a beginner because we all feel like, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but we all feel like we're supposed to know everything. Mm-hmm. We're supposed to know how Facebook works. We signed up for it, so we're supposed to know how it works. We're supposed to know how Instagram works. We're supposed to know how email works because we've been emailing for years. We're supposed to know all these things. And we can't say anything. We can't ask anybody about the things that we don't know because then they're going to look at us funny and say, wait, you don't know that? What's wrong with you? I thought you're supposed to be the expert. No, it's okay, you guys. And I'll tell you, I'll be the first to tell you that yes, I know a lot of things. Some will say that I know everything. I will tell you that's not even close to being true. However, I can find out what needs to be known and what needs to be done because I know what tools and resources to pull out of that toolbox, like you mentioned.
Right, exactly.
To be able to connect the dots. And that's what makes me tech savvy. That's what makes me business savvy, is because I can move. I can adjust as needed for whatever the situation is. And so that's what we're talking about, is being able to give yourself that permission. Because once you do, you look at the world in a different view.
And you really brought up, again, another one of the key pieces, in terms of like really good mental health.
Yeah.
It's really about how flexible you can be.
Yep.
How quickly can you recognize, just like you and I were just on, a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't have the Wi-Fi, and I'm
Right.
looking at, I probably tuned into something that was like last Friday or something. Okay.
Yep.
It's like, so how quickly can you recognize that what was 2 minutes ago is no more?
Yep.
Now we're here.
Exactly.
Now we're here. And that, honestly, Ed, is the sign of a great leader.
Thank you.
No, but it's really true. Okay, because this is the thing about leadership. You have an ability to see things that most other people don't see very, very quickly.
Yep.
And whatever your area of expertise is, like for me, the technical stuff would not come very quickly because that's not my thing. But this area comes very quickly.
Right.
You ask me anything really honestly about the human condition because it's my thing.
Yeah.
I studied it. It's who I am. The material comes right through me.
Yep.
Okay. But there's a lot of other things to be able to recognize. Okay. I'm out of my territory, and how quickly can I find, one of the things that I love about my husband, this is my second husband, that he and I both get it so quickly that spilled milk is like done.
Yeah.
We're done. If we've lost even something really valuable, it's over.
Yep.
All right. We're already thinking about, okay, how are we going to solve the next problem? How are we going to solve the next problem? How are we going to solve the next problem? And that's that mindset where you let go and then you're on to the next. You let go, you're on to the next. And these are just like really valuable tools that you really need to learn.
Right.
I say that good mental health is not a natural sport. It's a learned sport.
Yep.
Just like learning how to drive a car, learning how to use the computer, learning how to use any of this stuff. And once you do it over and over and over and over and over again, this part of the brain, the left part of the brain is kind of the learning part. And then once we learn it, it moves into the right side of the brain. And that's where our creativity lives.
Yeah.
So we can't be a lot of times incredibly creative when we're just, struggling to grasp something.
Right.
But once we have it, okay, for you to do these Facebook Lives now, I'm sure it's a lot different than it was when you started.
Oh yes, big time.
Okay. Right? Every aspect, the technical aspect, your personal aspect, the way to, all these different moving parts that now feel very natural for you.
Right.
Where somebody's going to say, oh, I'll never do it like Ed. Well, Ed didn't do it just like this in the beginning.
Exactly. And I love that you bring that up, because there are going to be people watching this who probably are brand new and they're going to think, wow, this is how I can't go live because I don't know all of this stuff. You guys, this is not where I started. All you have to do is start with your phone and hit the go live button. And then you go from there and build up whatever you want. I knew that in last year, I think it was, for 2018, I knew that I wanted to have a talk show style Facebook Live. Mm-hmm. And I committed to doing that 5 days a week up until September, I think it was.
Wow.
And then I said, okay, let me test out just going live once a week. And that's what I've been doing since September of last year. And it's awesome because you have the flexibility. You just have to give yourself, again, that permission to move, to pivot, to be able to change it up. And I love how we have been talking here for almost 45 minutes or an hour, and I love how we actually have just covered, again, circled back to the point of being able to know what our zone is and how to connect the dots, like be able to jump into that toolbox. For those who just tuned in, I wanted to read this again from Erin, who posted a comment earlier on my page, because it ties in directly to what we said here. So the question that I posted earlier on my page was, when you run into tech troubles, you ... because I wanted to know what people do. And Erin, of course, said, I dial into my Hey Ed network and get answers in minutes. I've cut out at least 3 hours a week in research and surfing groups for help. Even just being pointed in the right direction is a huge relief. That's what we're talking about, is that whether it's my group or your group or somebody else's group, find something that works for you and that allows you to quickly get in, get what you need, and get out. So that way you can keep things moving. Because we waste too much time trying, say it again?
Worrying.
Yeah, worrying and trying to figure out what we can Google, what we can YouTube, what we can do this, what group might have that. That's too much time. And then you find out it's 6 months later and you still haven't done it. It's 2 years later and you're still at square one. That's not what we're about. We're about getting it done now. And so I want you to understand that whether you have to pay or you find these free resources, just know that it's about your time and being able to really keep things moving along. And most of the time, in order to do that, you do have to pay for it, and free only gets you so far. So you need to make sure that you set your budgets for that. Even if you're starting out, like start planning that now because it's so important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you're talking about so many different things that we're able to just take this, I kind of talk a lot of times when people say mindset and, oh, I don't need any help, or I don't, I've got it covered, but there's so many nuances. It shows up in so many different ways.
Yep.
And we're all human.
Yeah.
We're all human. So we all have these parts of us, that kind of go offline. And it's like, how do I get myself back? How do I get myself moving again? What kind of support do I need?
Yes.
Just so much of this that because we drive the train.
Right. It's so true. It's so true. Now we're coming up close to time. I want to make sure, did we cover everything that you wanted to cover today?
Yeah, I mean, again, I could talk for hours about this.
We could be here forever.
If you have questions, I love answering these questions. As people get stuck, I love to help them kind of find the way and problem solve. But I think one of the things that I wanted to share, I have a quiz that people can really look at where they are on this scale of peak performance.
Oh, cool.
So I teach focus, relaxation, dealing with negative self-talk, how to visualize, and dealing with fear.
Nice.
That's kind of like my curriculum around this mental skills training.
Yeah.
And so if you go to masteryunderpressure.net, it's masteryunderpressure.net, and you'll see the quiz, and you'll get an opportunity to see where you are currently at this moment in time, and then what your interest is in actually learning more. Okay. And for your show, Ed, it says, something about $97, but I actually would be willing to offer a 30-minute consultation for complimentary.
Nice. Okay, cool.
Free doesn't always get it, but free sometimes is really cool. And I just want to go back to that piece that you were talking about in terms of too cheap, to this.
Yeah.
If you're going to give away your time, do it consciously.
Yeah.
Not out of desperation. Oh, I need clients. I need this. Do it consciously. Ooh, I choose to give this.
I like that. That is key because as we were talking before about habits and things that we've grown with, that is key because that means that we're breaking that cycle of when we get to other things that we really should be charging for, we feel like we have to do that for free. So I like that a lot.
Right. Yes, a whole bunch of stuff around money. I just did a talk on how to be a confident negotiator.
Oh, cool.
And a lot of the things that we're kind of throwing in here is really being able to hold on to your own space first.
Yeah.
You know, this is how much I charge. And I'm sorry that you may not have the money for this right now, but maybe there's ways that I could help you kind of figure out how you might be able to get the money for it. Okay. Versus, I choose to give away this time because I want to.
Yes. Oh, I hope you guys listen to that piece over and over. Like I put in the comments just, this is how much I charge, just so you kind of have a timestamp. But that is beautiful because I know all of us at one point or another struggle, and to hear that from somebody else is just, it's like, oh, a weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
Yeah. It's a whole world of really kind of walking into yourself, walking into your value, knowing your worth, you know, not being afraid that people are going to walk away, not being afraid to lose. And this, again, there's just a universe of wisdom to learn around it. But again, it comes back to I choose.
Right. I choose.
And you know, my thing has always been I love to take from the rich and give to the poor. And so if I have enough people that can pay my full fee, then I'm, you know, and if I feel called to work with you, I'm going to do it.
Yep.
I'm just going to do it. But if I'm struggling and I don't have food on my table,
right.
I think I'm going to put my oxygen mask on first. Take care of that.
Yep.
So then I have lots to give. There's lots left over.
I love that. And you guys, that all ties back into, again, why it's so important for us to take time for ourselves. You know, even just moments throughout the day when we're so busy, we have no time. We tell ourselves we have no time. We're so jam-packed that we can't barely breathe, and we know we need a break, but we're not taking a break. Take the break. Because
I have my thing now every 15 minutes. It kind of wiggles me. Time to get up and move.
Yeah, because we need that. And I will tell you, I know, because I've done this myself, we have to have people remind us. And I've worked with some of you with getting that break, even though you're like, I know, but I can't because I don't have time for a break. But when you hear it from somebody over and over, and then you actually do it, you realize, oh, I needed that. I mean, I'll tell you guys, even non-business related, when I have leg day at the gym with my trainer, most of the time it's so intense that I come home, I get to work for a couple hours, and then usually I have to take a 20-minute nap because I know I'm not going to make it all night long. And so I have to give myself permission to take that quick nap.
90 minutes, actually. 90 minutes. You shouldn't really, because your brain starts to shut down.
Yeah, exactly.
It does.
And then we need that little reset button so then we can come back. And I'll tell you, every time I bounce back and I'm like, all right, let's go. What's happening next? I'm ready. Yeah. Versus dragging and trying to have coffee or chocolate or whatever to give me that boost. It's not going to work.
It's not going to work. And besides, your creativity doesn't work like that. That's not how we become creative.
Exactly.
You have the best ideas, you know, kind of in the swimming pool or, you know, on a walk. It's like, oh, because we're giving this part of the brain a rest.
Yeah.
And again, the creative side gets an opportunity to make the dots together where you don't have to do a thing.
Yep.
There's so many things just of self-knowledge and patterns and when you do well and when you don't. And when, you know, I've never worked at night as a therapist. I've never worked at night. People said, how could you do this business? I'll meet you in the morning because I'm a morning person.
Yep.
Or if not, I'll refer you to somebody else.
Right. And I'll mention too, you guys, you've heard me say this before, those who follow me, that is key, to be able to allow yourself to provide your potential clients to refer them. Mm-hmm. Giving yourself permission that it's okay to refer people to other people if they're not the right fit for you. Mm-hmm. That's huge. And that will make you stand out from the competition. So again, know what works for you and be able to serve those people. And if you're not the right fit, be open and honest about that and provide them with an avenue. I always like to provide you with something. even if it's not mine, I don't mind referring you to, or sending you a resource or whatever. What kills me is if I can't do anything for you. I'm like, no, there's got to be something.
Well, maybe you're also giving them the gift,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Letting them know that you're not the right person. And then what happens for you, it creates new space
Exactly.
for more of the right people to come in.
Yep. It's so true. And there was another post earlier this week where somebody had actually wrote that. I was talking about, I think the question was something about, saying no. And they had actually wrote that they actually had to say no to, I think it was a $10,000 client because they didn't like the way that they were being treated right off the bat, which I'm sure all of us can say that would be really hard to say no to, but it was the right decision and it opened up the yes for a better client that was a little bit slightly below that amount. But again, it's not about the money. Even if we really need it, it's not about the money in that sense. It's how are we going to be able to function? How are we going to be able to work with that client and be able to move to the next level? So we really do have to check in with ourselves and give ourselves that permission.
So what we're really talking about, Ed, just to put sort of an umbrella on it, every single thing that we've talked about are spiritual principles. The universe works in a certain way. Sun rises in the east, sets in the west.
Yeah.
The salmons go upstream unless, and so that's the way I've actually been able to be very successful with people is once I really began to understand these laws. They're like laws of nature, and human beings have certain tendencies, and we have certain ways, of moving towards healing. And, we're talking about giving and receiving and being a learner, a beginner. And these are all universal principles, whatever language you want to put on it.
Yeah.
But when you begin to start to follow these principles, life works.
Right.
And every time we hit an obstacle, where we get a juggernaut, it's because we're going against some force, that either we pay attention to it and we learn and we move on, we begin to flow again.
Yep.
We don't. So I really want to take it out of the context of just psychology, because it's more than just psychology.
Yeah, for sure.
Truly. And put it into that bigger context because it's California and,
right.
Right. Off. But I think that's a really important thing to, think about the martial arts and how, when you just keep hitting and then when somebody just moves away, there's nobody to fight with.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we do. That's the transformational process of personal growth.
Yep.
So we just keep removing obstacles and moving on.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Tina, for joining us today. I am so excited. I'm going to make sure that since this was a new post, I'll make sure that your business page is tagged again, so that way people can check out your business page. And feel free to jump in the comments afterwards. And if anybody has questions, feel free. Yeah. And we just thank you so much for joining us.
That's the quiz, that masteryunderpressure.net, and you can just reach me at tinagreenbaum.com.
Perfect. And I put the Mastery link in the comments for you guys, and I'll be sure to tag her page so that you'll see it in the actual post here on Facebook.
Okay, because we have an expert here. Thank you.
Yes. Take care, Tina. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ed. Thanks so much.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what we do on the show. I'm pumped. I don't know about you, but I'm super excited, and I can't wait to watch the replay. See, I can't even speak because I'm so excited. And even if you're watching the replay, just tune into the comments, say hello, and tell me what's one thing that you walked away from this episode with. It's been a while since we had a guest on, and so I just get super, super pumped when I get to bring you guys on and have that conversation, because it's fun. It's so much fun. And look at how much we covered in this episode. That's why I got to go back and rewatch this one, because there's so many little nuggets of information that it's amazing. Aaron says, my mom and I used the metaphor for swimming. When you're caught in the rapids, you go with the current and slowly make your way to the side. Yes, you don't swim against it and you try to fight it. You won't win. Love that, Aaron. Thank you for sharing. That is so good. So I appreciate you guys tuning in wherever you're at, whatever day this is. It's awesome that you took the time out of your day to listen and tune into this. If you need anything, you know where to find me. edtroxelcreative.com is where all your resources are. Don't forget to get on my email list if you haven't done so already. I'll put the link in the comments. And until next time, I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Take care.